Good morning, Facebook family. Marriage Tip Tuesday. I'm Jenna Stefano, your go-to girl for marriage, fitness, and faith. And you know what? This morning I had a whole plan figured out on what I was going to share with you guys. I'd been thinking about it kind of all week, and then I was listening to the radio, and it totally changed my entire thought process for my Marriage Tip Tuesday. So gonna go off script a little bit because quite honestly that's how I work best, and I'm gonna share with you guys what I think my marriage tip Tuesday should be today. Just listen to the radio today. So today's marriage tip, because if you guys look at my Facebook page, you can see I do a marriage minute around lunchtime every day, and that's just a quick little minute to make you have that gut check to make sure you're doing everything you can to make your marriage amazing. But Marriage Tip Tuesday, we kind of go into depth a little bit further on an actual tip. So I made a tip on my Facebook page this week, and it talked about admitting when you're wrong, and saying, I was wrong, or I'm sorry. And how that's such a humbling thing to do in a marriage, right? We'll just talk relationships. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person you're married to, but we will focus it on that. To be able to say, I was wrong. The marriage tip that I posted this week, it said, get over needing to be right. Learning to say I was wrong is a skill worth learning. Because let's be honest, in a marriage, you have two people. And those two people both come into the marriage with an ego, right? We have an ego, and an ego can serve its purpose in the right way, the right manner, right? But the problem is ego and pride, sometimes we get out of balance with them. That happens, right? Sometimes it's really hard when you've done something wrong to admit it. Or it's really hard when something is wrong and you've done something wrong to admit it. Because you have to actually kind of swallow some of that pride, and you have to kind of push that ego aside, and to come to a marriage and actually be humble when you make a mistake. So my marriage tip today for you guys is to be okay with saying I'm sorry, and to be okay with saying I was wrong. If you were wrong in the situation, or if you messed up, or you did something that you shouldn't have done, you have to humbly come to a marriage and be able to say, I was wrong, because there's a couple things that are going to hold you back if you don't, right? Our goal in a healthy marriage is to communicate effectively. And if we talked about love languages last week, so go figure that out if you don't know that. But also know that a simple I'm sorry can change an entire marriage. A simple I messed up, I was wrong, but I know it, I can acknowledge it, and I'm going to do something about it. That is powerful. That actually speaks volumes, because it's admitting that you messed up. And it's addressing maybe a character defect of yours that you have. And it's kind of being humble. When you hold a grudge because you'd much rather be right or win, that's not fighting for your marriage. That's fighting against your marriage. It's not important to be right. It's not important to always be the winner in everything. It is important to be a part of your marriage and to fight for that, and to kind of let go of that ego, get that out of the way, because sometimes it drives us a little too much, and to get humble with yourself and realize, if you messed up or you were wrong, admit it, because it's not helping your marriage by holding that grudge, and it's not helping your marriage by always being right, and it's not helping your marriage by wanting to be the person that always wins. That's not helping your marriage. A marriage takes two people, but it takes two people working together. It doesn't take one person who thinks they know it all and one person who's tired of the person that thinks that they know it all. That's not fun. You want this to be fun. You want it to be enjoyable. So, some of the things that I want you to let go of today. I want you to let go of your need to always be right. If you are that person, I'm speaking to you. Maybe in your head, you're like, that's not me. She's wrong. But that's you needing to be right. If you're that person that always needs to be right in the marriage, let that go. Get over that. You don't always need to be right in the marriage. Sometimes it's better to love and be kind than it is to be right. So let go of being right all the time if you're that person. Stop always being offended in marriage. If you are the person that you're like, oh, why did he talk to me that way? Or, oh, why is she being so much like that? Stop being so offended. Grow some balls. Have some, strength in your marriage to not always be offended. Maybe they're not directing that, whatever that thing is, to you or towards you. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe something came up. Maybe something happened. Don't be so offended. Let go of your need to always be offended by something they say. That's okay. You don't need to be. It's not always about you. Let go of the need to win. I am a competitive person. When I set a goal, I go for it. I do everything in my power to make it happen. I'm very competitive. I like to win. I'll humbly say that to you guys. But in a marriage, nobody wins if people are miserable. Nobody wins. So if you're that person in the marriage that always wants to be the winner and to come out on top, and you're going to win this argument because you are amazing, you are full of your own ego, and you are not going to win, and neither is your marriage. So get rid of that need to always win. And the thing that I think is the most important is to be able to humbly say, I'm sorry. I messed up. I did something wrong. I am sorry. Because we're human. But I can tell you that your spouse will appreciate you so much more if you are able to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I messed up. I personally would appreciate that more than that ego-driven, need to win, need to be right, need to do this, need to do that. For me in a marriage, I want to fight for the marriage. I don't want to fight against it. I don't want to fight my spouse. I don't want to fight my ego to that drive to always be right. I want to fight for my marriage, and I want to win that game. I don't want to win the I like to always be right. So I need you today in your marriage to be comfortable with saying I'm sorry, or to be comfortable with saying I'm wrong, to let go of always needing to be right, to let go of always needing to win the arguments, to stop being so offended in your marriage, and to really truly take the time to fight for your marriage and to always be right in making your marriage better, because that is okay. That is something that we all need to work on, right? Guilty. I am always finding ways to try to make my marriage better. But to be okay with saying I'm sorry, and to be okay with saying I was wrong, and to let your ego get checked at the door so that you focus on taking care of your marriage and you don't focus on just you, because when you got married, it became two of you. So it's not just about you anymore. It's about you and your spouse. So check the ego at the door. Say I'm sorry, say I was wrong, be okay with that, and figure out how to fight for your marriage. That's my Marriage Tip Tuesday for you guys today. Have an amazing day, and check back next Tuesday for our next Marriage Tip Tuesday. Take care, guys.